Hello, everybody. We've made it to Thursday. I am Sportscaster 89. Let's hop aboard the Thursday Sports Report Express train. We're rocking and rolling today. I am Sportscaster 89. Before we get started today, please like and subscribe my YouTube channel at Sportscaster 89. I'm a special sport athlete that competes in basketball, track and field, bowling, and golf. I'm also on the USA Games board directors, athlete input council for next year in Orlando. I'm also a San Jose Mets minor league announcer sometimes on some games that they have me do. I'm also a Special Olympics. Like I said, I've been Special Olympics Florida Athlete of the Year in 2010. I've been to the ESPYs in Los Angeles, California. I'm aspiring to be a sportscaster, so I'm tagging everybody in this video today. Anna Logan, John Evanson, Liz Carantes, Jim Grimes, Ashley Glass, Matt Lincoln, Sam Kerrigan, Terry Hornstein, Lauren Alexsky, Thomas Forrester, Jay O'Brien, Lena Salzbank, Luli Ortiz, Kelly Dunn, Michael Williams, Jay Cashmere, Shane Cake, Tanya Rogers, John Shaman, Steve Weagle, Steve Villanueva, James Whelan, Kate Wenzel, Kelly Ferguson, Kelly Fulton Ferguson, Theo Dorsey, Tom McDermott, Felicia Rodriguez, Mike Lyons, Chris Martinez, Tiffany Kenny, Special Ones Florida, Lori Morrison, Lindsey Smith, Jim Stratton, Jasmine Johnson, Kyle Townsend, Kyle James, Janet Ray, Joel Zadauk, Sherry Willock, Bernadette Martin, Misha Payne, Mary Bishop, tagging all you guys on here today. Krista Stone, Jack Hudson, Tracy, Christ Fellowship, Pastor Travis, Pastor Jenny, Will, Jennifer Vogt, Michael Vogt, Reg Smangles, Ricky Arnell, Abriel Arnell. I'm tagging all you guys on here. Want you all to see this. Jamie Lenardi, Mike McCoy, all you guys on here today. Tagging everybody. Miami Dolphins, San Jose Mets, Casey Blair, Ad McDonald, Josh Sexton, Marissa Capoose, Lauren, Evan Nine. I'm tagging you all on here today. I'm hashtagging all you guys. Hashtag aspiring to be a sportscaster. Yours truly, Sportscaster 89. You're hopping aboard the Thursday Sports Report Express. Those of you just hopping aboard YouTube right now, here's what we're covering today. We're going to do the scores from a jam-packed night in the MLB, NBA, and the NHL. Next, we're going to chat the latest standings, give you a rundown of the NFL draft, discuss the hot-button topics in the MLB, NBA, and NHL, and we're going to give you a glimpse of what's ahead in the Sports Report Express train tonight in the NHL, NBA, and hockey. So without further ado, my YouTube subscribers, my friends that are, all of you that are out there listening right now on YouTube, my subscribers, to you, I say, welcome to the Sports Report Express train on this Thursday. I am Sportscaster 89. Like I said, I'm a special sport athlete that competes in basketball, track and field, bowling, and golf. I'm aspiring to be a sportscaster. I'm also going to hashtag Lisa Stewart on here as well. Hashtag Peter Crespo, hashtag Jay Stewart, hashtag Sheila Reese, hashtag Miss Fuller, hashtag all you guys that have been there for me since day one, helping me, become a sportscaster. So I just want to thank you all. So without further ado, we're going to get started with today's Sports Report Express train. So we're going to start in Major League Baseball with the scores from last night. Like I said, you guys are going to dive into the NFL draft as well. We're going to give you a rundown of it today. But first, we're going to do the Major League Baseball scores from last night. All right, you guys. Here we go with the scores from last night. Yesterday in Baltimore, the Yankees defeated the Orioles by a final score of 7-0. Adam Kramer loses for Baltimore. Domingo Germán gets the win for the Bronze Bombers. They shut out the Orioles last night by a final count of 7-0. Yesterday afternoon from Progressive Field in Cleveland, it was the Twins taking on the Indians. The Twins rout the Indians yesterday afternoon by a final score of 10-2. J.A. Happ gets the win for Minnesota, and Allen gets a loss for Cleveland. He falls to 1-4 on the year. The Twins blow out the Indians yesterday afternoon from Progressive Field. Final score, Twins 10, Indians 2. Next, we head to Miller Park in Milwaukee as the Marlins and Brewers wrapped up their 3-game series. The Miami Marlins get the series win over Milwaukee yesterday. Final score, Marlins 6, Brewers 2. Sandy Alcantara gets the win for Miami. He goes to 1-2 on the year. Zach Godley suffers a defeat from Milwaukee. He goes to 0-1. Next, we had the Chavez Ravine in Los Angeles. The Dodgers snapped their 4-game losing streak, shutting out the Reds yesterday afternoon in the finale of a series in LA between the Reds and the Dodgers, 8-0. Clayton Kershaw goes to 4-2 on the year. Sonny Gray falls to 0-2. Next, we head to PNC Park in Pittsburgh where the Royals took on the Pirates. The Royals get the victory over Pittsburgh by a final score of 9-6. Zimmer gets the victory for the Kansas City Royals. Keller gets the defeat for Pittsburgh. And Stoutmont gets the save for Kansas City. Jacob deGrom was sensational once again for the Mets, but could not produce any runs for him last night. The Red Sox defeat the Mets in a 1-0 score. Nick Pivetta gets the win for Boston. He moves to 3-0 on the season. Jacob deGrom suffers the tough luck loss for the Mets. He falls to 2-2, and Matt Barnes gets his 6th save for the Boston Red Sox as the Red Sox defeat the Mets 1-0. Next, we had the TD Park in Dunedin, Florida, as the Toronto Blue Jays took on the Washington Nationals, and the Nationals get the win over Toronto by a final score of Nationals 8, Blue Jays 2. Eric Fetty gets the victory for Washington. He improves to 2-2 on the season. Stephen Matz suffers a defeat for Toronto. He falls to 4-1 on the season. Next, we had the St. Petersburg and Tropicana Field. The Tampa Bay Rays took on the Oakland A's last night in Game 3 of their 4-game set. The Tampa Bay Rays get the shutout win over the Oakland A's. Final score, Rays 2, A's nothing. Tyler Glasnow improves to 3-1 on the season for Tampa Bay. Meanwhile, for Oakland, Bruce Irving suffers a tough luck loss for Oakland. He falls to 2-3. Diego Castillo gets his 6th save for the Tampa Bay Rays as they shut out the A's 2-0. Next, we had the Truist Park in Atlanta as the Braves took on the Cubs in Game 3 of their 4-game series. Braves get the shutout win over the Cubs 10-0. Oscar Yanoa gets the win for the Atlanta Braves, improves to 2-1 as Hendricks suffers the defeat for Chicago. He falls to 1-3. The Braves shut out the Cubs 10-0. Next, we had the Busch Stadium in St. Louis as the St. Louis Cardinals were at home against the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies get the victory over St. Louis. Final score, Phillies 5, Cardinals 3. Brandon Kinsler gets the win for Philly. He goes to 1-0. Cabrera suffers a defeat for St. Louis. And Hector Neris gets his 5th save of the season for the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies defeat the Cardinals last night by a final score of 5-3. Next, we go to Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. It was the Angels taking on the Rangers in Game 3 of their 4-game series. The Angels get the victory over Texas by a final score of 4-3. Rodriguez gets the victory for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. He goes to 2-0. Griffin Dunning suffers a defeat. He goes to 1-1. And Raul Iglesias gets his fourth save of the season for the Halos as the Halos defeat the Rangers by a final score of 4-3. Next, we head to Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, as the Astros and Mariners continued their 4-game series between these AL West division rivals. The Astros get the win over the Mariners by a final count of 7-5. Smith gets the win for Houston. He goes to 1-1. Montero suffers the defeat for Seattle, goes to 2-1. And Ryan Stanek gets a save for Houston, his first of the season. The Astros defeat the Mariners 7-5. Next, we head to Chase Field in Arizona as the D-backs took on the Padres last night. The Padres get the win over Arizona by a final score of Padres 12, D-backs 3. Northcraft gets the win for San Diego. The loss goes to Smith. He falls to 1-1 once again. Padres defeat the D-backs by a final score of 12-3. And finally, we head to Oracle Park in San Francisco as the Giants took on the Rockies last night. Alex Wood gets the victory, goes to 3-0. Marquez suffers the defeat for Colorado. He falls to 1-2 on the season. The Giants defeat the Rockies by a final score of 7-3. And now, let's look at tonight's action in Major League Baseball this afternoon. It's the finale of a 4-game series in Baltimore as the Yankees wrap up their series against the Baltimore Orioles. It'll be Jordan Montgomery on the mound for the Yankees. He'll be opposed by Lopez of the Orioles. First pitch from Camden Yards is 105. Also this afternoon from St. Pete, it's going to be the Rays and the A's from Tropicana Field. It'll be Bassett for Oakland at 2-2. It'll be McClanahan for Tampa Bay. He'll make the start for Tampa Bay. It'll be the Rays and the A's at 1:10 this afternoon from Tropicana Field. Also this afternoon from Busch Stadium, it's 1:15. The Phillies and the Cardinals will go at it. Aaron Nola will be on the mound for Philly. He'll be opposed by Kim for St. Louis. He is 1-0 on the season. The Phillies and Cardinals will wrap up their 4-game series this afternoon from Busch Stadium and St. Louis at 1:15. Phillies and Cardinals this afternoon. Also this afternoon, it's the Mariners and Astros from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. It'll be Kikuchi for Seattle. He'll be opposed by Garcia of the Astros. At 2:10 this afternoon from Minute Maid Park, it's the Mariners and Astros wrapping up their 4-game series. This afternoon in Guarantee Rate Field, it's a 7-inning doubleheader between the Tigers and the White Sox. From the south side, it'll be 5:10 first pitch for Game 1. It'll be Rondon for Chicago. He's undefeated at 3-0. He'll be going up against Casey Mize and Detroit Tigers at 1-2. In Game 2, which will be 45 minutes after Game 1, it'll be Alex Boyd for Detroit. He'll take on Cease for the Chicago White Sox. That'll be Game 2, 45 minutes after Game 1. Also this evening from Truist Park in Atlanta, it's the Cubs and Braves. They'll wrap up their 4-game series at 7:20. It'll be Ozole for the Chicago Cubs. He'll be opposed by Wilson of the Atlanta Braves. It's the Cubs and Braves 7:20. It's Ozole for the Cubs against Wilson and the Atlanta Braves in the finale of a 4-game series from Truist Park. The Dodgers will take on the Brewers in Game 1 of a 4-game weekend series from Miller Park this evening at 7:40 Eastern Time. It'll be Trevor Bauer for the LA Dodgers. He'll be on the mound against Lauer for the Milwaukee Brewers at 7:40. Dodgers and Brewers, Game 1 of a 4-game series tonight from Miller Park in Milwaukee. The Texas Rangers will begin a 4-game weekend series tonight against the Boston Red Sox from Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. It'll be Perez for the Boston Red Sox. He'll be opposed by Kyle Gibson of the Texas Rangers. It's the Rangers and Red Sox, the first of a 4-game weekend series tonight from Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas at 8:05. Next, we head to the Valley of the Sun. It'll be the Diamondbacks against the Rockies. Game 1 of a 4-game weekend series at Chase Field in Phoenix. It'll be Sanzatella for Colorado. He'll be opposed by Luke Weaver and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Once again, Rockies and D-backs tonight, Game 1 of a 4-game weekend series starting at Chase Field in Phoenix. Sanzatella for Colorado against Luke Weaver and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, let's head to the NBA. We'll give you guys the scores and highlights from last night in the NBA from the association. We'll give you the standings in all three of these leagues. We'll run down the NFL draft, and then we'll discuss the hot button topics in the MLB, NBA, and the NHL, and then we'll wrap up today's edition of the Sports Report Express Train. All right, you guys, let's take a look at last night's action in the association. And we'll start in Madison Square Garden as the Knicks bounce back from a defeat from the Phoenix Suns the other night. They win this one over the Bulls, 113-94. The Magic snapped their losing streak at 6 in a row, defeating the Cavs last night by 5, 109-104. The Sixers blow out the Hawks, 127-83. The Wizards keep their playoff hopes alive in the play-in tournament with a 116-107 victory over the world defending champion Lakers last night at Capital One Arena. The Celtics defeat the Hornets by 9, 120-111. The Heat get a 17-0 run in the fourth quarter to defeat the Spurs by 5, 116-111. The Grizzlies lose at home to the Blazers last night, 130-109. The Nuggets eke out a 2-point victory against the New Orleans Pelicans last night at home. The Suns clinched a playoff spot for the first time since 2011, beating the Clippers last night by 8, 109-101. And the Jazz clinched a playoff spot as well by blowing out the Kings last night, 154-105. Now, let us look at the box score from last night's action to see who led the games in scoring for both these squads. The Bulls last night were led by Nikola Vucevic's 26 points, 18 boards. Kobe White had 12 for Chicago. Garrett Temple also had 12 for Chicago. Lauri Markkanen had 14 points for the Bulls. Thaddeus Young added 10 for the Chicago Bulls. They come up short against the Knicks last night by a final score of 113-94. The Knicks were led by Julius Randle's 34 points. R.J. Barrett added 22 for the Knicks. Reggie Bullock added 13 for the New York Knicks. Emmanuel Quickley added 13 for the Knicks. The Knicks get a big win last night over the Bulls, 113-94. Next, let's head to Cleveland as the Magic snapped a 6-game losing streak last night to the Cleveland Cavaliers, winning by 5, 109-104. Take a look at the box score from last night's game from Cleveland. The Magic were led by Gary Harris's 19 points. Cole Anthony added 18. Okeke added 18 for Orlando. Dwayne Bacon had 16 points for Orlando. And Chasson Randle chipped in off the Orlando Magic bench with 10 points. Meanwhile, for the Cleveland Cavaliers, they were led by Darius Garland's 25 points. Jared Allen had 17 points, 13 boards for Cleveland. Isaac Okoro had 15 points for Cleveland. Seed Osman had 19 points for the Cavs. They come up short by 5 over Orlando, 109-104. Next, let's head to Philly as the Sixers blew out the Hawks, 127-83. Let's take a look at the box score from last night. The Hawks were led by John Collins' 21 points. Solomon Hill added 14 for Atlanta. Skylar May also added 11 points for Atlanta. The Hawks come up short last night in a blowout over the Sixers, 127-83. Now let's go to the Sixer box score. The Sixers were led by Seth Curry's 20 points. Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris also added 17. Court Moss had 12 for Philly. Shake Milton had 11. Tyrese Maxey also chipped in off the Sixer bench with 11 points. The Sixers blew out the Hawks 127-83. Let's look at the box score from the Wizards and the Lakers game last night. The Lakers were led by 26 points from Anthony Davis. Andre Drummond added 17 for the Lakers. Ben McLemore had 16 for the Lakers. Montrezl Harrell had 12 points for LA. Dennis Schroeder had 13 points for LA. Kyle Kuzma at 11 for the Lakers, but they come up short in Washington over the Wizards, 116-107. The Wizards were led by Bradley Beal's 27 points. Russell Westbrook had 18 for the Wizards to go along with 18 boards and 14 assists. Rui Hachimura had 12 for Washington. Alex Len had 18 off the Washington bench. Ish Smith added 12 points for the Wizards as they defeat the Lakers 116-107. Next, let's head to TD Garden in Boston as the Celtics defeat the Hornets last night by 9, 120-111. Let's take a look at the box score from this one. The Hornets were led by Devontae Graham's 25 points. Miles Bridges and P.J. Washington both scored 19 for the Charlotte Hornets. Cody Zeller had 16 points for the Hornets, but it was not enough as the Celtics propelled over the Hornets last night by 9 at home, 120-111. The Celtics were led by Jaylen Brown's 38 points. Jason Tatum also had 35 points. They were both sensational last night. Aaron Smith had 15 for Boston off the bench. Tristan Thompson added 12 points for Boston off the bench as well for the victorious Celtics over the Hornets by 9. Next, let's take a little box score from last night in Miami as the Heat got a much-needed win over the Spurs last night as they completed the game last night on a 17-0 run to propel them to the 5-point win over San Antonio. Let's take a look at the box score from last night in Miami. The Spurs were led by DeMar DeRozan's 20 points. Dejounte Murray led the Spurs in scoring with 22 points. DeMar DeRozan added 20 for the Spurs. Keldon Johnson added 14 for San Antonio. Devin Vassell had 11 points for San Antonio. Lonnie Walker added 18 for San Antonio. Rudy Gay had 13 points, but the Spurs lost the game on a 17-0 run by Miami in the fourth quarter, losing this one by 5 to the Heat, 116-111. Jimmy Butler led the scoring for Miami last night. He had 29 points. Bam Adebayo had 21 for Miami. Kendrick Nunn also led the way for the Heat with 18, and then Goran Dragic led the way with 18 for the Heat off the bench. Dwayne Dedmon has been a sensational pickup for the Heat. He added 18 points off the Heat bench last night for Miami. Next, we had the FedEx Forum as the Blazers defeat the Grizzlies 130-109. Let's look at the box score from last night's action from Memphis. CJ McCollum led the victorious Trailblazers with 26 points. Norman Powell added 24 for Portland. Damian Lillard had 23. Yusuf Nurkic had 15 points for Portland. Carmelo Anthony had 18 points for the Blazers off the bench. The Blazers blow out the Grizzlies at Memphis last night, 130-109. Next, let's look at the box score from the Nuggets and Pelicans matchup last night. The Nuggets were led in scoring by Nikola Jokic's 32 points. Michael Porter Jr. had 28 points for Denver. Campazzo had 19 points for Denver off the bench. Aaron Gordon had 10 points for Denver. The New Orleans Pelicans were led by 27 points for Brandon Ingram, 21 points by Zion Williamson, 16 points for Lonzo Ball, 17 points for Eric Bledsoe. The Pelicans come up short in Denver last night by 2, 114-112. We look at the box score for the Suns and the Clippers last night. Congratulations to the Suns on clinching a playoff spot. For the first time since 2011, congratulations to Monty Williams and the Phoenix Suns for clinching a playoff berth last night with the victory over the Clippers by 8. The Clippers were led by Paul George's 25 points. Marcus Morris Sr. had 16 for the Clippers. Zubac had 14 for LA. Reggie Jackson had 10 for LA. And Terrence Mann had 12 points for the LA Clips. Meanwhile, for the Suns, they were led by Chris Paul's 28 points. Devin Booker had 21 for the Suns as well. Mikal Bridges had 13 for Phoenix. Torrey Craig had 10 points for Phoenix. Cameron Payne also added 15 points. Frank Kaminsky had 13 points for Phoenix. The Suns clinched a playoff spot last night with an 8-point win over the Clippers, 109-101. And finally, the Jazz blow out the Kings last night, 154-105. Let us take a look at the box score from last night in Sacramento. First, we look at the Jazz box score last night. Bogdanovich led the Jazz with 24 points. Jordan Clarkson had 23 for Utah. Joe Ingles had 13 for Utah. Rudy Gobert had 12. Royce O'Neal had 10. Gerald Brantley had 13 for Utah. And Matt Thomas had 17 points off the Jazz bench. For the Sacramento Kings, they're led by Buddy Hield's 18 points. Tyrese Haliburton had 13 for Sacramento. Rashad Holmes chipped in with 18 for Sacramento. Justin James off the Sacramento bench chipped in with 16 points. The Kings were blown out at home last night to Utah, 154-105. Now, let us take a look at tonight's action in the association. Your scheduled games on the Sports Report Express in the NBA tonight will start in Detroit with the Pistons at home at Little Caesars Arena taking on Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks at 7 o'clock. Dallas and Detroit from Little Caesars Arena in Detroit tonight at 7. Now start off the NBA slate on the Sports Report Express train in the NBA. Next, we had the Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indiana. It'll be the Nets taking on the Pacers at 7 o'clock on NBA TV. Then we go to Houston, Texas at Toyota Center where the Bucks will take on the Houston Rockets at 8 o'clock. Steph Curry and the Warriors will be on the road at Target Center to take on Karl Anthony Towns and the Minnesota Timberwolves at 8 o'clock. The Pelicans continue their road trip in Oklahoma City to take on the Thunder at 9 o'clock. The Thunder and Pelicans at 9 o'clock from OKC. The Nuggets will play the Raptors at home to wrap up the NBA slate tonight in the NBA. On this Thursday edition of the Sports Report Express train, the Nuggets will be at home playing a back-to-back against the Denver Nuggets. And now, let us take a look at the up-to-the-minute standings in the NBA. Let's take a look. We'll start in the East, where the East right now is occupied by the Brooklyn Nets, who are number one in the East at 42-20, followed by the Sixers at 41-21, the Milwaukee Bucks at 38-23, the Knicks at 35-28, the Hawks at 34-29, the Celtics at 33-30, the Heat with the same record as the Celtics at 33-30, and the Charlotte Hornets, number 8, at 30-32. Outside the top 8 in the East, it'll be the Pacers, number 9, at 29-32, the Wizards at 28-34, the Bulls at 26-36, the Raptors with the same record as the Bulls at 26-36. The Cavs at 13th, 21-41, the Magic 14th at 19-43, and the Pistons at 19-43. Once again, we'll show you the standings in the Eastern Conference. Brooklyn's number 1, Sixers number 2, Bucks number 3, Knicks number 4, Hawks number 5, Celtics number 6, Heat number 7, Hornets number 8. Outside the top 8 in the East, it goes like this, everyone. Pacers, Wizards, Bulls, Raptors, Cavs, Magic, Pistons. You guys got all that? I'll repeat for you all one more time after I run through the West standings. It's the Jazz number 1 right now in the West. The Suns number 2. The Clippers number 3. The Nuggets number 4. The Lakers number 5. The Mavericks number 6. The Blazers number 7. The Grizzlies number 8. Outside the top 8 in the West, it goes a little like this, y'all. It's the Spurs, the Warriors, the Pelicans, the Kings, the Thunder, the Timberwolves, and the Rockets. Let's run through that one more time for you guys. It's the Jazz number 1 at 45-17. Next, it's the Phoenix Suns at 44-18. Next, it's the Clippers at 43-21. Next, it's the Nuggets at 41-21. Next, it's the Lakers at 36-26. Next, it's the Dallas Mavericks number 6 at 34-27. Next, it's the Portland Blazers at 34-28. It's the Grizzlies occupying the 8th spot in the Western Conference at 31-30. Next, we go outside the top 8 in the West. We'll start with the San Antonio Spurs, number 9, at 31-30. Next is the Golden State Warriors at 500 at 31-31. Then it's the New Orleans Pelicans at 27-35. The Sacramento Kings are number 12 in the West at 25-37. Next is the Oklahoma City Thunder at 21-41. Then it's the Minnesota Timberwolves at 19-44. And finally, it's the Houston Rockets at 15-47. That is a look at your Western Conference standings and the Eastern Conference standings in the NBA. Now let's shift our gears to hockey. And then we're going to run down the NFL draft, and then we're going to discuss the hot button topics in all 3 of these leagues. Let us start in the NHL last night. We look at the latest scores from last night in the NHL. We'll run them down for you guys one by one so we all can get the scores from last night. So here we go. We will start with the Canucks and Senators from Ottawa last night. The Canucks lose to Ottawa last night by a final score of 6-3. The Maple Leafs defeat the Canadiens in Montreal last night 4-1. The Oilers defeat the Jets 3-1. The Sharks defeat the Coyotes in San Jose last night 4-2. The Wild lose a heartbreaker at home on a game-winning goal by the Blues 4-3. The Ducks defeat the Kings in the Honda West Division last night 3-2 from Los Angeles. And the Golden Knights defeat the Avalanche by a final score of 5-2. Once again, let's run down the scores for you all one more time. The Senators defeat the Canucks 6-3. The Maple Leafs defeat the Canadiens by a final score of 4-1. The Oilers defeat the Jets 3-1. The Sharks defeat the Coyotes at home last night by a final score of 4-2. The Blues defeat the Wild in St. Paul last night by a final score of 4-3. The Ducks defeat the Kings last night in downtown Los Angeles at the Staples Center 3-2. And finally, from Vegas, the Golden Knights defeat the Colorado Avalanche at home last night by a final score of 5-2. Now, let's take a look at tonight's action across the National Hockey League on the Sports Report Express train. First, we start in Madison Square Garden, where the Islanders will take on the Rangers at 7 o'clock. It's the Islanders and the Rangers from Madison Square Garden at 7 o'clock tonight on MSG and MSG Plus in New York. Next, we head to Emily Arena in Tampa. It's the Dallas Stars and the Tampa Bay Lightning at 7 o'clock. From Emily Arena in Tampa, Stars and Lightning at 7 o'clock tonight from Tampa. Next, we had the United Center in Chicago. It's going to be the Florida Panthers taking on the Chicago Blackhawks from United Center in Chicago at 8 o'clock tonight on NBCSN and NBC Sports Chicago. Next, we had the XL Center in St. Paul, Minnesota, as the St. Louis Blues and Minnesota Wild will continue their series. It's the Wild and Blues tonight at 8 o'clock on Bally Sports Midwest and Bally Sports North Plus. Also at 7 o'clock tonight, it's the Boston Bruins from TD Garden at home against the Buffalo Sabres on NESN Plus and MSG Buffalo at 7 o'clock tonight, the Sabres and Bruins from Boston. Then at 7 o'clock from Newark, New Jersey at Prudential Center, it's going to be the Philadelphia Flyers taking on the New Jersey Devils at 7 o'clock on NBC Sports Philadelphia and MSG Plus. It's the Flyers and Devils from Newark at Prudential Center in Newark. Devils and Flyers at 7 o'clock on NBC Sports Philadelphia and MSG Plus. Next, we had the Capital One Arena in D.C. It'll be the Penguins and the Capitals going at it at 7 o'clock from Capital One Arena in D.C. Capitals and Penguins tonight on NBC on ESPN Plus, AT&T Sports Pittsburgh, and NBC Sports Washington. It's the Pens and the Capitals from Capital One Arena at 7 o'clock. Next, we had the PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina. It's the Hurricanes and the Red Wings from Carolina at 7 o'clock. It's the Red Wings and Hurricanes on Bally Sports Detroit Plus and Bally Sports Southeast. It's the Carolina Hurricanes and the Detroit Red Wings at 7 o'clock from PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina. Next, we head to Toronto. It's the Maple Leafs and the Canucks at 7:30 on ESPN Plus. Canucks and Maple Leafs on ESPN Plus at 7:30. And finally, to wrap up the night in the NHL, it's going to be the Calgary Flames taking on the Edmonton Oilers at 9 o'clock on NBCSN, preceded by the Panthers and the Blackhawks. Once again, it's going to be the Flames and the Oilers at 9 o'clock on NBCSN, joined in progress, preceding the Panthers and the Blackhawks. Now, let's take a look at the up-to-the-date standings in the NHL on this Thursday edition of the Sports Report Express Train. So, we'll start in the Mass Mutual East Division. It's the Capitals number 1, the Penguins number 2, the Islanders number 3, and the Boston Bruins number 4. Now, outside the top 4, here we go. It's the Rangers, followed by the Flyers, the Devils, and the Sabres. In the Discover Central Division, it's the Carolina Hurricanes number 1, the Florida Panthers number 2, the Lightning number 3, and the Nashville Predators number 4. Outside the top 4, here we go. It's the Dallas Stars, followed by the Chicago Blackhawks, then it's the Detroit Red Wings, and the Columbus Blue Jackets to round out the Central Division in the standings. Now let's head to the Honda West Division, guys. It's the Vegas Golden Knights number 1, the Colorado Avalanche number 2, the Minnesota Wild number 3, the St. Louis Blues number 4. Outside the top 4, you have the Arizona Coyotes, followed by the San Jose Sharks, the Los Angeles Kings, and the Anaheim Ducks. Now let's look at the Scotia North Division, and then we'll run it down for you all one more time. We'll start with Toronto Maple Leafs number 1, the Edmonton Oilers number 2, the Winnipeg Jets number 3, the Montreal Canadiens number 4. And outside the top 4, it's the Calgary Flames number 5, the Ottawa Senators number 6, and the Vancouver Canucks at number 7. Once again, we'll run down the division for you guys to see where your favorite hockey team is right now in the standings. We'll start with the Washington Capitals, number 1 in the East, followed by the Pittsburgh Penguins, the New York Islanders, and the Boston Bruins. Now, outside the top 4, it goes like this, everyone. The Rangers, the Flyers, the Devils, and the Sabres. In the Central, the Carolina Hurricanes, the Florida Panthers, the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Nashville Predators. Outside the top 4 in the Central, the Dallas Stars, the Chicago Blackhawks, the Detroit Red Wings, and the Columbus Blue Jackets. In the Honda West, it starts with the Vegas Golden Knights, the Colorado Avalanche, the Minnesota Wild, and the St. Louis Blues. Next, outside the top 4 in the West, it's Arizona, San Jose, the Los Angeles Kings, and the Anaheim Ducks. The Scotia North Division goes like this, everyone. The Toronto Maple Leafs, the Edmonton Oilers, the Winnipeg Jets, the Montreal Canadiens, the Calgary Flames, the Ottawa Senators, and finally, the Vancouver Canucks. And now, we are going to preview tonight's NFL Draft. We'll do the rundown right now. Okay, guys, we're going to go to the ESPN app. We'll tell you the draft order of the NFL Draft tonight. The NFL Draft, like I said, is tonight. So I'm going to give you the draft order of every team. We will give you the draft order for all 259 picks and 7 rounds of this draft. Okay, guys, the NFL Draft will take place tonight with the first round. It'll be tonight. Tomorrow is rounds 2 and 3 will be tomorrow. Rounds 4 through 7 will be on Saturday. Okay? I repeat, the NFL Draft will take place tonight in Cleveland. The first round is tonight. The second and third round will be tomorrow, while 4 through 7 will be on Saturday. You guys got that? I'll repeat that one more time. The NFL Draft is tonight in Cleveland, Ohio. The first round is tonight. You can catch it tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Time on NFL Network, ABC, and ESPN. The second and third round will be tomorrow. Rounds 4 through 7 will be on Saturday. And the draft will be broadcast on ESPN, and you can also watch it on the ESPN app. Okay, guys, here we go. We're 259 picks. Here we go. We'll tell you the teams we'll tell you who's picking in round 1. Here's the draft order for all 7 picks to 259. We're going to run it down right now. Here we go. The Jaguars will pick number 1 in the first round. They have the number 1 pick. Next will be the New York Jets, the San Francisco 49ers, the Atlanta Falcons, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Miami Dolphins, the Detroit Lions, the Carolina Panthers, the Denver Broncos, the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Giants, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Los Angeles Chargers, the Minnesota Vikings, the New England Patriots, the Arizona Cardinals, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Miami Dolphins, the Washington Football Team, the Chicago Bears will pick number 20. The Indianapolis Colts will pick number 21. Number 22 will be the Tennessee Titans. The New York Jets will get the 23rd pick from the Seattle Seahawks. The Pittsburgh Steelers will get number 24. The Jacksonville Jaguars will get the pick from the LA Rams. The Cleveland Browns will pick number 26. The Baltimore Ravens will be number 27. The New Orleans Saints will be number 28. The Green Bay Packers, number 29. The Buffalo Bills, number 30. The Baltimore Ravens, number 31. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, number 32. Hey, Nelly. Hello? Yeah, Nelly, what's up? I'm doing my report. Yeah, I'll call you back when I'm done. Bye. Where was I? All right, I'm gonna have to run it down for you guys one more time. All right. The Jacksonville Jaguars will have the number 1 overall pick, followed by the New York Jets, the San Francisco 49ers, the Atlanta Falcons, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Miami Dolphins, the Detroit Lions, the Carolina Panthers, the Denver Broncos, the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Giants, the Philadelphia Eagles. This will be from the Dolphins and 49ers pick. They trade up. The Dolphins and 49ers they swapped draft picks, so the Eagles will pick 12. The Chargers, number 13. The Vikings, number 14. The Patriots, number 15. the Cardinals number 16, the Raiders number 17, the Dolphins at 18, the Washington football team number 19, the Bears at 20, the Colts at number 21, the Titans number 22, the Jets number 23, the Steelers number 24, the Jaguars number 25, the Browns 26, the Ravens 27, the Saints 28, the Packers 29, the Bills 30, the Ravens 31, the Buccaneers 32. In round 2, the order will be the Jaguars, the Jets, the Falcons, the Dolphins, the Eagles, the Bengals, the Panthers, the Broncos, the Lions, the Giants, the Niners, the Cowboys, the Jaguars, the Patriots, the Chargers, the Raiders, the Cardinals, the Dolphins, the Washington football team, the Bears, the Titans, the Colts, the Steelers, the Seahawks, the Rams, the Chiefs, the Browns, the Saints, the Bills, the Packers, the Chiefs, and the Buccaneers, the defending Super Bowl champions, will have the 64th pick in round 2. In round 3, the draft order will go like this: the Jaguars, the Jets, the Texans, the Falcons, the Bengals, the Eagles, the Broncos, the Lions, the Panthers, the Washington football team from the Niners, the Cowboys, the Giants, the Chargers, the Vikings, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Raiders again, the Dolphins, the Washington football team, the Bears, the Eagles, the Titans, the Jets, the Steelers, the Rams, the Browns, the Vikings, the Browns once again, the Packers, the Bills, the Ravens, the defending Super Bowl champions will have the 95th pick, the Patriots, the Chargers, the Saints, the Cowboys, the Titans, the Lions, the Niners, the Rams, the Ravens, and the Saints will be pick number 105. In round 4, the draft order is going to go like this: the Jaguars, the Jets, the Falcons, the Texans, the Browns, the Bengals, the Lions, the Panthers, the Broncos, the Cowboys, the 49ers, the Chargers, the Vikings, the Patriots, the Raiders, the Patriots once again, the Eagles, the Washington football team, the Vikings, the Titans, the Colts, the Steelers, the Seahawks, the Jaguars, the Ravens, the Browns, the Saints, the Vikings, the Packers, the Ravens, the defensive Super Bowl champion Buccaneers at pick 137, the Cowboys, the Patriots, the Steelers, the Rams, the Packers, the Vikings, and finally the Chiefs in round 4 at 144. In round 5, the draft order goes like this: the Jaguars, the Jets, the Texans, the Falcons, the Bengals, the Eagles, the Panthers, the Broncos, the Lions, the Jets, the Niners, the Dolphins from the Eagles and the Cowboys, the Vikings, the Texans from the Patriots, the Chargers, the Cardinals, the Bills from the Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders from the Dolphins. The Washington football team will pick number 163, the Bears at 164, the Colts at 165, the Titans at 166, the Raiders at 167, the Vikings at 168, the Cleveland Browns at 169, the Jaguars at 170, the Baltimore Ravens at 171, the San Francisco 49ers at 172, the Packers at 173, the Bills at 174, the Chiefs at 175, the defending Super Bowl champion Bucs at 176, the Patriots at 177, the Packers at 178, the Cowboys at 179, the Niners at 180, the Chiefs at 181, the Falcons twice at 182 and 183, and the Baltimore Ravens at 184. Here now is round 6. The draft order in round 6 will go like this, everyone: the Chargers from the Jaguars through the Titans, the New York Jets at 186, the Falcons at 187, the Patriots at 188, the Eagles at 189, the Bengals at 190, the Panthers at 191 from the Denver Broncos, the Dallas Cowboys in round 6 from the Detroit Lions at 192, the Jets from 193 from the Carolina Panthers, the Niners at 194, the Texans from the Cowboys through the New England Patriots. The Texans will pick 195 in the 6th round, followed by the New York Giants, the New England Patriots, the Los Angeles Chargers, the Minnesota Vikings, the Las Vegas Raiders, The New York Giants at 201 from the Arizona Cardinals. The Cincinnati Bengals from the Miami Dolphins and the Houston Texans at pick 202. The Houston Texans from the Washington Football Team through the Vegas Raiders and the Dolphins at 203. The Chicago Bears at 204. The Tennessee Titans at 205. The Colts at 206. The Chiefs at 207 from, through the Steelers and Dolphins. The Chicago Bears from, pick number 208 from the Seahawks and the Dolphins. The Rams at 209. The Ravens at 210. The Browns at 211. The Texans at 212 from the Saints. The Bills at 213. The Packers at 214. The Titans at 215. The Steelers from the defending Super Bowl champions at 216. The Steelers will pick number 216 in the 6th round. The Saints at 218. The Falcons at 219. The Packers at 220. The Bears at 221. The Panthers at 222. The Vikings at 223. The Eagles twice at 224 and 225. The Panthers at 226. The Cowboys at 227. The Bears at 228. And the final round of the NFL draft, round 7, the draft order will go like this. The Saints from the Jaguars, the Niners from the Jets at 230, the Dolphins from the Texans at 231, the Titans at 232 from the Falcons through the Dolphins, the Texans at 233 from the Bengals, the Eagles at 234, the Cincinnati Bengals at 235 from the Lions and the Seahawks, the Buffalo Bills from the Carolina Panthers at 236, the Broncos at 237, the Cowboys at 238, the Broncos from the Giants at 239, the Eagles from the Niners at 240, the Chargers at 241, the New England Patriots at 242. The Arizona Cardinals will pick 243 in round 7. The Dolphins will pick 244 in the 7th round and final round of the draft from the Washington Football Team via the Las Vegas Raiders. The Pittsburgh Steelers will pick 245 in the final round of the NFL draft over the weekend from the Dolphins at 245. The Washington Football Team at 246. The Arizona Cardinals from the Chicago Bears through the Raiders at 247. The Indianapolis Colts at 248. The Jaguars at 249 from the Titans. The Seahawks at 250. The defending World Series champions will pick number 251 in the final round of the draft over the weekend. The Los Angeles Rams at 252. The Denver Broncos from the Cleveland Browns at 253. The Pittsburgh Steelers from the Baltimore Ravens at 254. The New Orleans Saints at 255. The Green Bay Packers at 256. The Cleveland Browns from the Buffalo Bills at 257 in the final round of the NFL draft over the weekend. The Washington Football Team has the 258th pick in the 7th round from the Miami Dolphins via the Chiefs, and the last pick will be by the defending Super Bowl champion, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, at 259. That is your rundown of the NFL draft order. And now we'll discuss the hot button issues that are going on in the NBA, the MLB, and the NHL, and we'll wrap it up for the day. Let's take a look from the news from what's going on in the MLB. Let's talk about the San Diego Padres. They knocked seven straight hits last night in a blowout victory over the Arizona Diamondbacks. The wild ride moments began before the first pitch didn't even relent until the Padres put a 12 spot on the D-backs at Chase Field last night, indeed, in a 12-3 win last night in Arizona for the Padres. They had highs and lows in both, in this game. Will Myers was scratched mere moments before the game because of COVID-19 contract tracing protocols, only to be cleared to pinch hit in the 8th, driving a run for the San Diego Padres. Starting pitcher Ryan Weathers was removed after one inning with a sore left arm despite his apparent pleas to keep pitching. Fernando Tatis Jr. committed yet another error at shortstop, but he pounded out 2 more hits and was robbed of an 8th home run, which would have taken them to the top of the MLB leaderboard. The Padres' offense was held scoreless throughout 4 innings, only to break out 12 runs over the final 5 frames, including a 5th-inning rally that featured seven consecutive hits, capped off by Manny Machado's bases-clearing triple last night for the Padres in a 12-3 victory. So here is what happened. What to make most of it, perhaps? Well, notably, the Padres, a much-needed split against the D-backs, capping a 4-2 trek through Los Angeles and Arizona. J.C. Tingler said, quote, good way to finish up this road trip. Here's a quick rundown of all the noteworthy developments from Wednesday night's game last night in Arizona. And there are quite a few developments from this game last night. A dead arm for Weathers. This image is one of the Padres would like to avoid. A highly regarded pitching prospect retreated to a clubhouse after just 1 inning last night because of a sore left arm. The Padres trainers were optimistic that Weathers avoided any major injury or ligament damage, Tingler said afterward. Tingler used words dead-armed and fatigued to describe Weathers' ailment, perhaps not that surprising for a 21-year-old rookie who has been called upon to fill a major role in the pitching staff of the Padres. If the Padres medical staff can get a bit of information on the back of Weathers' forearms to recede, Tingler said it's possible that Dave Weathers Jr. can make his next start. Number 2, Will Myers' eventful night. Before the first pitch, Tingler was informed that Myers had entered the league's contact tracing protocol for COVID-19. Myers was scratched from the starting lineup last night and was replaced by Jorge Mateo in right field. Then sometime around the 5th inning, word came down that Myers had been cleared to play. Tingler called for Myers as a pinch hitter in the 8th. He played a run with a single. An inning later, Mateo launched his first career big league home run last night for San Diego. Up and down Tatis is a third story we're going to talk about. Offensively, Tatis has been on an absolute tear. He has recorded an extra base hit in 5 consecutive games. However, he was denied a home run on a brilliant leaping play by Josh Rojas in right field last night in the 8th inning. Tatis would settle for a sacrifice fly instead. Defensively has been a different story for Tatis Jr. He committed his 10th major league error last night. He has struggled to complete throws to first base. But the Padres are confident that Tatis will break out of his defensive slump. Why exactly? As J.C. Tingler said, quote, the same thing that gave me confidence then his bat was going to come around when there were all types of questions. Number 4, Austin Nola is back for the San Diego Padres. The Padres have spent 4 weeks waiting for catcher Austin Nola to return. Just then, just like that, he was back. The Padres activated Austin Nola last night after he caught a couple bullpen sessions and took batting practice yesterday, reporting no lingering effects from his fractured left middle finger. Tingler said, quote, I look forward to getting him behind the plate and getting his game going again. But overall, Nola is the leader in the room, a guy a lot of players and staff believe in. It's going to be really nice to have him a part of it going forward. Victor Caratini received the start behind the plate last night, but Nola made a season debut as a pinch hitter last night, flying out to right field in the 9th. He was asked to play second base in the bottom of the frame because Tingler wanted to make sure he had insurance behind the plate in the event something happened to Caratini. The ball finds you, and sure enough, Aaron Nola turned a double play. Ha-Sung Kim breaks out. This is the next story we're going to talk about in MLB. Jay Cronenworth was out for the 2nd straight time this season. Ha-Sung Kim received his first start in a week. It worked out nicely for both sides. Kim's 5th inning single tied the game when Rojas' error allowed a second run to score. He helped spark a 3-run 8-2, an RBI double. As for Cronenworth, he was called upon to pinch hit in the 6th and launched a solo blast in their right field seats. It's the kind of night for the Padres offense that they needed. Tingler said, quote, we've known we're capable of doing that. To finally see those guys, the way they squared up the ball, it was like, there it is. We've known it's in there. To finally get some consecutive hits and to string some really good at-bats together, it was really exciting to see. So that's it for the hot button topic in Major League Baseball. Let's go to the hot button topic in the NBA. And then we'll go to the hot button topic in hockey, and then we'll wrap it up for today. So, the big story of last night was the Suns clinching their first playoff berth in 11 years since 2010. They topped the Clippers last night by a final score of 109-108. This was unbelievable last night. The Spurs lose a heartbreaking game to the Heat last night on the road by 5. The Heat went on a 17-0 run in the fourth quarter. The Wizards keep their intensity going in the playoffs, in the playoff hunt, in the play-in. They defeat the Lakers last night in a big game last night by the Wizards. It was a big game. They won this one over the Lakers. The Celtics got a big win last night over the Hornets. Let's look at the latest playoff. Let's look at the headlines from last night. The top story was the Knicks overtaking the Hawks for fourth in the Eastern playoff standings. All right, guys. Like I said, the Knicks have taken over the fourth spot in the East in the playoff standings over the Hawks last night. The Hawks lost a critical game in Philly last night, getting blown out 127-83 last night. Now let's look at the NHL, and we'll tell you the hot button topic in the National Hockey League, and then we're going to wrap it up for the day on the Thursday Sports Report Express train. Let's take a look at the hot button topic in hockey. We'll talk about the Stanley Cup. We'll talk about the Stanley Cup playoff buzz as the St. Louis Blues extend their lead for fourth in the West Division. Let's look at last night's 7 games that had playoff implications. Let's look at the Senators and the Canucks last night as the Senators won this game 6-3. Thomas Chabot had a goal for the Senators. They moved to 6th place in the North Division. They're 9 points behind 4th place Montreal. The Canucks are 7th, They're 10 points behind the Canadiens with 5 games in hand. Next, let's go to St. Paul, Minnesota and XL Center as the Blues defeated the Wild last night on Robert Thomas's game-winning goal with 23 seconds to play in the third period. The Blues are 3 points ahead of the Coyotes for the final spot in the West. Minnesota, which had a 7-game winning streak, come to an end. They clinched a playoff berth, though. They clinched a playoff berth April 24th. They trail the Avalanche by a point for second in the division. The Avalanche and Golden Knights have also clinched berths in the West. Let's head to Montreal. The Maple Leafs and the Canadiens went at it last night. Austin Matthews scored his NHL-leading 35th goal last night, and Joe Thornton became the 7th player in NHL history with 1,100 assists, and the Maple Leafs clinched a playoff berth with their third straight victory. Toronto leads the Oilers by 7 points for first in the North. The Canadiens have lost 3 of their past 4 games, and they're 6 points behind the Flames for fourth. Let's take a look at Montreal. Let's take a look at Edmonton and Winnipeg. The Oilers won over the Jets 3-1. Connor McDavid had 3 assists for the Oilers last night. He has scored 2 points in Edmonton's 9 games against Winnipeg this season. 22 points, 7 goals, 15 assists. Edmonton has won 4 of its past 5 games. They're second in the North. They're 3 points ahead of the Jets, who have lost 5 in a row. Toronto is 7 points ahead of Edmonton. Let's go to Vegas. The Golden Knights have extended their winning streak to 10 in a row. They've moved 6 points ahead of the Avalanche for first in the West. Marc-Andre Fleury made 35 saves for his 488th victory, one shy of tying Roberto Luongo for third in NHL history. The Avalanche have lost 3 in a row after winning their previous 5. Each team, however, has qualified for the Stanley Cup playoffs in the Western Conference. The Ducks defeat the Kings last night by a goal in downtown Los Angeles, 3-2. Cam Fowler scored with 1:01 to play remaining in the third period. The Ducks ended a 5-game losing streak. Anaheim was eliminated from playoff contention after the Blues defeated the Wild last night. Quentin Byfield, the second pick in the 2020 NHL Draft, had 4 shots on goal and won 8 of 12 faceoffs in 17:21 of ice time in his NHL debut for the Kings. The Kings are 7th in the West. They're 8 points behind 4th place St. Louis for the final playoff spot. And last but not least, the San Jose Sharks defeating the Arizona Coyotes last night 4-2. The Sharks swept the 2-game set after losing their previous 8. Arizona has lost for the 9th time in 11 games. They're 2-9-0. They're 5th in the West. They're 3 points behind the Blues for the final spot in the division, while St. Louis is holding 3 games in hand right now. The Sharks are 6th, 5 points behind the Blues. Let's look at the first round playoff matchups if they were to start today. The Maple Leafs would play the Montreal Canadiens. The Edmonton Oilers will play the Winnipeg Jets. Over in the East, it'll be the Capitals and Bruins. The Islanders will take on the Penguins. The Nashville Predators will take on the Carolina Hurricanes. The playoffs will start today. The 2 forward teams would go out between the Panthers and the Lightning. In the West, you would have Vegas take on St. Louis and the Avalanche and the Wild. Once again, if the playoffs were to start today, here are your playoff matchups that would go down. The Maple Leafs against the Canadiens. The Oilers against the Jets, the Washington Capitals against the Bruins, the Pittsburgh Penguins against the New York Islanders, the Carolina Hurricanes against the Nashville Predators. The 2 Florida teams would square off in a playoff series, 7 games between the Panthers and the Lightning. The Golden Knights would take on the St. Louis Blues, and the Avalanche would go up against the Minnesota Wild if the playoffs were to start today. Thank you all for tuning into today's Sports Report Express. We covered a lot today. Come on back tomorrow for the Friday edition of the Sports Report. I am Sportscaster89. Don't forget to subscribe and like my channel on YouTube. And if you're able to, please share us with your friends. Please also, if you're able to, please donate so I can continue to do my Sports Report Express on a regular basis for you all. Please donate if you're able to. I am Sportscaster89. I'm also a special needs athlete. You can follow me on my YouTube channel at Sportscaster89. Don't forget to like and subscribe on the notification bell on the right-hand side. You click it, you subscribe, you get all my notifications when I go live on my Sports Report Express. So please like and subscribe to my channel on YouTube at Sportscaster89. And if you're able to, please donate so I can continue to do this on a regular basis for you guys. I do my own sports reports on a regular daily basis online on my YouTube channel. I am Sportscaster89. I hope you all enjoyed today's Sports Report Express train. You hopped aboard it. Let's hop aboard again tomorrow. With that said, everybody, have a tremendous Thursday. And don't forget, the NFL Draft is tonight at 8 o'clock on ABC, ESPN, and NFL Network. First round is tonight. Second and third round will be tomorrow. Rounds 4 through 7 will be on Saturday. So don't forget, everyone, the NFL Draft is tonight at 8 o'clock on ESPN, ABC, NFL Network. Rounds 2 through 3 will be tomorrow. Rounds 4 through 7 will be on Saturday. And then I'll complete the 2021 NFL Draft. So with that said, you guys come on back tomorrow for another edition of the Sports Report Express train. We'll all board together. So with that said, everyone, I hope you all have a tremendous Thursday. I am Sportscaster 89. Don't forget, I'm a specialist Florida athlete. I do sports reports on my own on a regular daily basis. So please, if you're able to, subscribe to my YouTube channel and watch my reports today. I go in depth the draft order today. So don't forget, everyone, tonight is the NFL Draft, 8 o'clock Eastern Time on ESPN, ABC, and the NFL Network. Rounds 2 through 3 will be tomorrow. Rounds 4 through 7 will be on Saturday. So don't forget, you guys, the NFL Draft is tonight, 8 o'clock from Cleveland on ESPN, ABC, and NFL Network. So with that said, everybody, I am Sportscaster 89. Thank you for tuning in to today's sports report on my YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe on the right-hand side with the notification button right there. Don't forget also to donate if you're able to. No matter donation, if it's big or small, I want to continue to do this for you all. For you all, I would like to get paid so YouTube can pay me so I can continue to do these videos. So please, if you're able to, donate on my channel at Sportscaster 89. With that said, you guys have a tremendous day. I am Sportscaster 89. See you all tomorrow for the wrap up of the week with the Sports Report Express train. We'll hop aboard tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to cover the scores from a jam-packed night in the MLB, NBA, NHL. We'll run down the NFL Draft recap. We'll recap the first round for you all tomorrow. We'll check the standings in all three of the leagues, the MLB, the NHL, and the NBA. And tomorrow we'll discuss the hot button topics that are going on in Major League Baseball, NBA, and the NHL. That's what's ahead tomorrow. So you guys watch my video today. Don't forget tomorrow, this is what we're covering. We're covering the jam-packed night in sports from the MLB, NBA, NHL. We're going to check the standings tomorrow. We're going to run down. We're going to recap the first round of the NFL Draft. We're going to discuss the hot button topics in the MLB, NBA, and NHL. And also, we will let you all know to hop aboard the Sports Report Express train on Monday. So with that said, you guys, see you all tomorrow. Come on back tomorrow for the Sports Report Express train. You hop aboard it. I am Sportscaster 89. Have a tremendous Thursday, everybody. We'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great one, everyone.